Hey everyone, and welcome to the round two of the playoff review, the final four, if you will, and the championship preview. I'm the commissioner, aka still the champ, for 2 more weeks, and I'm joined by Joel Gibson. Joel, how we doing over there?
We're doing good. We're doing real good.
I can imagine that you are. Thank you for wearing the James Harden jersey. It's good quality. Good quality joke. We'll get right into it here. Joel Gibson. Joel Gibson beats Mr. Modest 7-3-1. Now, as late as Tuesday, I know I had you a little scared because I actually took the lead. It was 6-5 there for a minute. And then I basically my whole team just decided that I wasn't going to play defense anymore. The whole team. Like, all at once, didn't matter. They were all like, steals and blocks? What are those? And you pulled away there at the end. It really wasn't close. There at the end, like I said, rebounds were close. But when you don't have your two best players and then Brogdon goes down and then DeJounte Murray goes down, literally my four best players went down towards the end. And it made up. Like, you had a lot of injuries too, and I won't shy away from that. Sabo being out, Levine being out. I think that, like I said, it would have been a different matchup if I had my two best players, but you played the wire well. I think we both played the wire well, at least to what we could. We also both had a couple flops with Satoransky. I know kind of screwed us both. But
kind of screwed us both.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, you were the home team. You won 7-3-1, and you're moving on to the championship. So congratulations to you, sir. Back in the championship, 2 years in a row in the championship, I believe. Because technically the Final Four last year was the championship. So we'll see if you can make good on it. Anything to say?
Really well played. It wasn't enough. I had to give the MVP of the matchup a shout out with the James Harden jersey tonight.
Yeah.
With James Harden on your team, this would have been a different matchup. And I think it's really funny that all these years you've been saying that he wasn't the real deal.
Yeah.
And then you bet the farm that he was going to be the real deal. And then your own prophecy came true on you. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is definitely a bummer, especially when you had Greek put up 49 today against the Nets. Very healthy and would have helped me out in quite a few categories. So it was certainly a bummer to see that happen. He took some injuries too, especially towards the end. I don't know that I necessarily regret that trade because I ended up getting Booker in exchange for Grant, who ended up on the wire there at the end. So I still think I made out in that trade, but we'll see next year. I think a lot of it will come down to next year and if I can compete even a little bit next year. But thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed playing this season. I guess I defended my championship as best I could. If you'd have told me after, like, from where I was drafting from, my first pick being at 74, that I was still going to make the Final Four, I would have called you crazy, and I know I would have because I told you I'd be surprised if I made it into the playoffs this year. But
you were the number one seed most of the season.
Yes. Correct. Although a lot of that I am going to still hold was because Neiman and I were both in the West. Had he and I been in the East, I think both of us would have taken far more losses. So just a little soft note on that. But I want to thank everybody, and it was fun playing this year, and now no one cares about me. So moving on to the next matchup. It's going to be Doug beating Cody. Now, Luka came through for Cody with a monster triple-double here at the end of this matchup. 20 assists. 20 assists. Holy cow. Really took the lead as far as assists goes as well. It came down to steals. It was literally tied on steals today. However, Daryl Finney-Smith decided that, he was going to get 2 steals in the last 6-7 minutes of the game and lock this one up for Doug. Doug got really lucky here because I think that with Schroeder being out, had it come down to 1 steal, Cody could have gotten lucky with Kuzma. But shout out to Doug. This is going to be his first championship, I believe. He wasn't in the Final Four last year. I know that. He has taken on some injuries, and we'll get into that a little bit in the preview for the championship. But hard fought from Cody. Thank you, Cody, for participating. This was a year that I didn't think he, really counted on competing much. He was building a lot for next season, and he is loaded for next year. Absolutely loaded, and he could very likely make a 3rd appearance in the Final Four next year in a row. Cody's really been performing well regardless of him not being able to get that championship quite yet. But I know big things are to come from Cody next year. And I'm really going to look forward to seeing him play when he's actually going all out for something, for the shot, I suppose.
Yeah, really surprising that he made it this far, considering he was just scrapping his team for parts. But some really smart moves out there. Selling John Wall for a first-round pick who, didn't end up playing at the time that it mattered most.
Yep.
That's just a win-win.
Yep.
Just good moves all around. Darius Garland, too. Sorry to pile on Adam, but, man, neither of those guys are playing right now. But
Yep.
I guess neither is Adam.
Neither is Adam, indeed.
But really impressive. Doug's team is pretty tough, too. But I'm sure we'll get more into that. But monster effort by Cody, Luka, and Kat to get this close.
Absolutely. And Beal, of course, as well. I don't know if you mentioned him, but it's interesting to me because Cody traded away Brogdon, and had he kept him, it would have been a real issue here at the end for him as well. So I know we kind of said that trade, I had mentioned it when he beat the number 1, maybe Brogdon had made his team better, but that's not true because he ended up sitting out for me there towards the end. But like I said, shout out to Cody. Congratulations to Doug. Doug had the best line of the Final Four matchup if you compare them all next to each other. So, like I said, really excited. Glad to see somebody new moving on to the championship. And wouldn't you know it, Doug wins again when I don't pick him. I'm just saying there is something to this that if I pick against Doug, he somehow pulls it off. Well, I guess that's really it.
Wishing that.
Anything else on this matchup?
Oh, I feel like I'm ready to get into the next matchup, though.
All right. Well, this is going to be the championship. Doug, the 4 seed, is going to be away at Joel Gibson, the 3 seed. No, the 2 seed. I apologize. The 2 seed, Joel Gibson. Want to get all these introductions right. Now, some notes that I just have quickly off the top. Joel was injured last matchup quite a bit. He didn't have Levine. Levine might come back. I'm curious to see how quickly they bring him back, though, given that it's the Bulls and they've been sitting. That could be a problem. Sabonis, though, played yesterday, triple-double yesterday. That's going to be a huge factor moving on. How many games does he play? Is he going to continue with this triple-double pace? last thing, at least on your team as it goes, there were a few injuries towards the end of tonight that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. Noel, Tatum had a bad collision with Jalen at the end of the game. Poku, I mean, you can just drop him. He's just a cycle player. But big ad for you today on Bazemore. I think that Kelly Oubre is going to need surgery. So I think that's going to be really large. That's why I dropped him at the end of the matchup there. So I think that was very wise on your part. Now getting over to Doug's team, we have no idea how much Kawhi's going to play in this matchup. He actually was being quoted as saying he's playing on an injured right foot right now. Moving forward, though, a player that I think is going to be another big question mark is Kyrie. You just never know when he's going to play or when he's going to sit. KD returned today. So they might be looking to give Kyrie a little bit of rest towards the end here, especially if James Harden gets back. Jimmy Butler, thank goodness that the Heat are scrapping for a playoff spot. That's going to be huge and extremely helpful for Doug, especially having to drop Boucher and Turner. I think blocks are going to be a very interesting category here. So losing Turner and losing Boucher, I think is going to at least hurt Doug enough that your ad of Jason Allen. Who the hell is Jason Allen? Garrett Allen. Is Jason Allen? I'm pretty sure he was like the old Cowboys coach or something like that. I have no idea why that name came to my head. But I think the ad of Allen is going to be very large for you. And also Noel's status, absolutely monstrous as far as defensive stats go. So I think his injury is actually more important than Tatum's injury, in my opinion.
That's interesting. When you were mentioning all those guys for Doug, one guy I think that you forgot to mention was Porzingis.
Zinger and also Vooch is randomly. I wanted to mention Vooch at the same time, or Vooch, that I mentioned Levine, but I forgot that one. And then Zinger as well. You're absolutely right. I did forget about Zinger.
Two big guys are just huge pieces. Maybe even his two best pieces. But there's some question marks. Kevin Porter Jr. can get as hot as anyone, apparently, although he's not good enough to play on the Cavs.
Food fight, duck!
God damn it. But Doug's a real team, no doubt about it. He's earned our respect over the years, and it's going to be a good matchup. But I'm going to fucking take it to him.
Okay, so we'll start with my pick. I'm going to pick Joel Gibson here, and this is again going back to like hopefully kind of jinxing you a little bit and like giving Doug the chance. If there is any kind of voodoo, I do not want to all of a sudden pick for Doug and hurt his chances in any way. So I'll pick you. You don't need luck in these situations. So I'm going to pick you. Sabonis coming back. Any kind of prayers chance that Doug might have for that triple-double category, I think is gone as long as Sabonis is playing. Even if he only plays 1 or 2 games in the matchup, that's all he's going to need. And especially if Brogdon is out any kind of long-term, they do nothing but run that offense through Sabonis. And I would not be surprised if you're getting like 15-15 triple-doubles from him. Like I said, the injuries on your team kind of concern me a little bit, but also Doug has those same question marks. So I kind of have you both a little bit on the same scale as far as the injuries go. One thing I will note is Doug only has 13 free agent dollars, where you have more than that. You have more than 14. You'll be able to have your pick of the litter any day that you want it. So that's definitely an advantage to your team. So all that being said, I'm going to pick you. And I just really look forward to it. One of the most competitive, I keep saying it every year, I feel like, but this year is the peak of that competitiveness. I mean, the first 4 matchups, then the final 4, and now a matchup that I truly think could go either way.
It's going to be a hard-fought battle, but I got some weapons. I don't know if you noticed this, but Jason Tatum went off for 60 this week. He's a fucking monster. If Nerlens Noel is healthy, dude, the other night he had 4 steals and 5 blocks.
Yeah, I recall.
Isaiah Stewart, Doug recently had him on his team and dropped him, and I snagged him. I'm really liking what this guy is doing. Plumlee is sitting random games. Mm-hmm. There's just defensive stats all over the place. And I'm locked and ready to go. I got more waiver money than Doug does. I got more experience, and I think I'm going to pick myself in this situation. It's going to be hard fought, but God damn it, the heart of a champion is going to pull through.
Yeah, and if that's the case, now this will be your, 5th championship if you win this total. We have that weird asterisk championship where nobody was in the league and somehow you won. I think Steven was in the league and that's it as far as the history books show. So
you're keeping it.
So that
I
would
built this league from the ground, baby.
So this would be your 5th championship, and your second, good Lord, 3, 5, that would be 4 championships in the last 6 years. That's an insane stat in and of itself. That's it. That's all I got. Good luck to both of them.
Appearance in there too.
What's that?
Add a finals appearance in that resume too.
Yeah, you did have a finals appearance. You didn't the year that Matt won, though, right? The Fan Tracks Championship.
Yeah, the Fan Tracks year, that was all fucked.
Yeah, and you weren't in the championship the year I won my rookie year either. You got bounced by Pat before I beat him.
Oh, man.
Good times. All right, well, like I said, I can't wait. Now, I did post the ballot for everybody, and I'll likely post it again. I have had one person turn their ballot in since I posted it. One person.
What day was it posted?
It was posted at the beginning of last week. So I gave 2 full weeks, and I want to do the actual awards next Sunday during that show, and I have had one person turn their ballot in. This is absurd.
Turn my ballot in. It'll get done.
Okay. All right, well, we'll see everybody next week. Good luck to Joel Gibson. Good luck to Doug in his first championship. But as Joel Gibson would say, not too much luck. All right, see you guys.
See you guys.